Hi, everyone. Welcome to Food Talk with Danny Nierenberg. This podcast is the first in a series of discussions we'll have about young people who are involved in so many interesting issues around food and agriculture systems and working to solve our climate crisis. This is the first, again, in a series about the Act for Food, Act for Change campaign. The campaign is again something that gives youth a platform to discuss issues within the food system and actions they want policymakers and businesses to take. And today I get to chat with someone who I spoke with last year, who I really admire and who is on the front lines of improving our food and agriculture systems. Maureen Muketha is a youth nutrition advocate and the founder of f2ef77162c464633bf07d60312f28324 in Kenya, which provides local women with access to nutrition education as a way to end malnutrition, and doing this through sack farming. I love that name, f2ef77162c464633bf07d60312f28324 means let's eat right in Swahili. Maureen, I'm so glad that you could be here today and join us. How have you been for the last 16 months? I know you've had a lot of work to do with the women in your community.
Thank you, Danny. I've been great. It's good to reconnect, and f2ef77162c464633bf07d60312f28324 has been doing well. We have expanded the number of people. We have increased the number of people we are working with. Community members are now super double excited about the work we are working, the area we are working on. Indigenous vegetables are now, at least in the area where we work with, are now being embraced, and the work that f2ef77162c464633bf07d60312f28324 does is being appreciated. And I'm also really excited about the Act for Food, Act for Change campaign that is currently running in support of good food for all. It's a campaign that calls for young people and also policymakers to act and build back a stronger food system. And it's one of the things that really excites me. I would say it's one of my 2021 highlights.
That's wonderful. And I should have mentioned, Maureen, you're part of the UN Food Systems Summit Action Track 1 leadership team in the lead up to the UN Food Systems Summit in September of this year. And so we're so delighted to have you as really this core member of the Act for Food, Act for Change campaign. And you know, I think you said something really interesting, getting young people involved with policymakers. In the past, young people often have not had a voice when it comes to reaching policymakers. And I know that's been very frustrating. Can you talk about how to get this message of and the campaign of Act for Food, Act for Change in front of policymakers? Traditionally, young people and youth have not had a loud enough voice when it comes to policymakers hearing them and hearing what they care about and achieving their goals.
Thank you, Danny, for that interesting comment. Yes, it is true, but I would also like to first start by acknowledging that we are making progress. We are now seeing young people being invited to the decision-making table. We have a recent example of the pre-summit that has just ended today. We have seen a lot of sessions that are either being moderated by young people.
Great. That's wonderful. You're talking about the UN Food Systems Summit pre-summit that's been happening this week in July.
Yes. There was also a panel discussion where youth and businesses involved in the food system that took place at the pre-summit. And we also, not forgetting that every action track of the UN Food Systems Summit, for example, has vice chairs has youth as their vice chairs. So those are some of the progress we are seeing about youth being involved, but we would like to see more. We would like to have youth being invited to the decision table, being given the opportunity for them to give their suggestions to better discuss how we can be able to build back a stronger food system, because one phrase that I really like in the pledge of the Act for Change is that we are the ones who will live the longest with the decisions.
Right.
So what we are advocating is, please invite us to this table. We would like to work together with you. We acknowledge like when we both come together, give our ideas, because we are the largest population. We are the ones who we take and maximize on the demographic dividends that exist. We will be able to achieve one, we will be able to combat malnutrition, which is a big problem, and therefore everyone will have access to safe and nutritious foods at all times. So how we are able to engage decision makers and policy makers is by also informing them or talking about what we are doing, like what is this action, like the campaign, the Act for Food, Act for Change. In as much as we would like to see change, for example, let's say like in promotion of indigenous food that is unique in every region, or things like every child should have access to safe and nutritious foods from the time they start going to school all the way to the tertiary level. Actions for change, such as advertisements of the unhealthy diet. We are also saying, because like the core group, the core group, which is comprised of 22 different young, amazing leaders from across different parts of the region, we are all doing something. So even as we are asking for decision makers to act on the problems that we are currently facing, we are also saying this is what we are doing. So that is another way of showing that we are also proactive, and given the opportunity, we would do more.
That's amazing. And I think it's so important that not only that youth have a voice at these important discussions, whether it's the United Nations Food System Summit or the World Food Forum that's also taking place this year with the UN Food and Agriculture Organization, but that you have a voice with businesses. And you mentioned that before, that at the UN Food System Summit, youth were part of a panel where they were leading discussions around the role of business. What do you want business to learn from young people?
We want businesses to learn that, yes, we appreciate that, for example, profits run, businesses exist to generate profit. But even as we are generating profit, we need to ensure that we are not harming the population. We are not harming our population, neither are we harming our planet. So we are calling for businesses to conduct to run their businesses in a sustainable way, a way that does not affect climate, that does not affect our climate, a way that one thing that I usually say is, when you're doing something, like for example, if you're running a business, remember anyone could be your potential customer. Like for example, if you're manufacturing a food product, if you fail to adhere to the standards that are required, if you fail to produce a safe morsel, a safe food, someone in your family could end up eating that food. So we would like businesses to keep up, for those who are already adhering to like the safety guidelines, to keep it up, and those who and for the others, there's room for improvement. Rome was not built in a day, but we are highly encouraging them to have nutrition at the end, at the top of their minds, even as they're producing, let's say like nutrition, they're producing food. Food is supposed to nourish us, so it should be safe, because if food is not safe, it is not food, it is poison.
Absolutely. And I love that you're really encouraging businesses to doing that. I think a lot of business and multinational food businesses especially are realizing that if they don't make changes, that, young people won't buy their products. Young people want to buy products that, as you said, are nourishing and safe, and that are products that they can believe in. But the business community has a lot to do on this front, just as government does. I'm wondering, Maureen, if you can talk a little bit more about Act for Food, Act for Change's Global Youth Pledge and what it calls for.
Yes, sure, Danny. That's a topic that I really love. So Act for Food, Act for Change campaign was launched on the 18th of May this year. And maybe if I could give a little background, it came from an inspiration from one of the core group members, Deepti. She's a really young girl from Bangladesh who was part of a campaign where school-going children committed to using their pocket money to buy nutritious foods. And myself and Sophie, she's another amazing young leader based in the UK. We saw the executive director of Global Alliance for Improved Nutrition, Dr. Lawrence Haddad. We saw his tweet about the Bangladesh pledge, and we were like, oh, wow, this is a really amazing movement. And so we thought, how can this be a global thing? Because, malnutrition is a global problem. It is just not specific to Bangladesh. It is not specific to Asia. It's a problem that the world is facing. 1 in 3 people go hungry. And when I talk about malnutrition, I'm talking about, it could be both. It could be overnutrition, which is overweight and obesity. It could be undernutrition, where there's wasting, stunting, and then also micronutrient deficiencies, which is often referred to as hidden hunger, because oftentimes symptoms are not seen. So we got really encouraged we got really inspired that a young person was involved in this campaign, and we thought, why not make this a global thing? Because this is a problem that the world is facing. So how about we come together and make this a global thing? So we came together. So Sophie, myself, and Deepti, and thought maybe because we had seen it from the executive director, Dr. Lawrence Haddad, perhaps that could be a good starting point, because it's a campaign that was conducted, if I'm not wrong, with the GAIN office in Bangladesh. So we thought, if we are to do something like that, they could be the best people to also for us to learn from them. So we came together, wrote a proposal. We submitted our proposal, and Global Alliance was gracious enough to listen to us and to give us a listening ear and hear what we actually wanted to do. And I must say, from there, it became a movement. We are now a movement because different organizations came on board. We have the Food Foundation. They were also working on a similar project. So this was a good way of synergizing, because we believe in working together. And then we also got different young people from all over the world to bring in perspective and also represent their regions, because as I have said, malnutrition is a problem, and food systems is a problem that is affecting everyone. And we have now since grown. We have the core group members. We are 22 of us from different parts of the world. Each one of us doing something amazing in their community or in their countries. And so the campaign has 2 parts. It has the pledge, which is the act for food. And the pledge acknowledges that food systems, that our current food systems contribute to ongoing crises such as the health, such as climate and biodiversity, as well as health crises, which we acknowledge they are a violation of human rights. And we as young people, it's a call. It's young people acknowledging that current food systems are not right, but we would also like to be involved in the decision-making process, so as to because of the ongoing food system summit, and also because 2021 is the year of nutrition. We have the Nutrition for Growth Summit, we have the Food System Summit. These are some of the summits, some of the areas. You also talked about the World Food Economic Forum that we would like young people to be involved in, because we live the longest with the decisions. So the pledge is demanding large-scale action from decision makers and governments, and in support for the good food for all. And then we have the actions for change. Now, these days, you have already committed as a young person that you acknowledge that currently our food systems are not, they're a violation of human rights. But what exactly do you want to change, or what would you like to see a difference in? So that's where the actions for change come in. The actions for change come in. So the actions for change are a list of actions that were collected from different youth groups, such as the Youth Liaisons Group, where young people submitted actions or problems that they think exist in the different countries that they live in, and they would like change to be seen. So the core group now, team members came together and summarized the actions to about 17 actions for change. And now currently we are voting for the top 5, where which this is something that is open to all young people, top 5 actions that they would like to see a change in. And yes, and the actions for change are a call to the businesses, policy makers, and those in decision making positions those are the things that young people would like to see a change in. So the campaign has to pass acknowledging that there's a problem, and then these are the actions that we would like to see, or this is the change we would like to see.
Absolutely. And I think this process, Maureen, is so democratic and inclusive.
Yes, Danny. As the Act for Food team, when we were coming together, one of our core values, or one of the things that we believe in, is one, inclusivity, because there's no big or small problem. The world is very diverse. So challenges that one area may be experiencing is not what challenges another area may be experiencing. So that is why we are seeking to we would like to have every human being living on this planet to have access to safe and nutritious food at all times. So yes, that is why it's a democratic. We opted to have it as a democratic process, as a very transparent process, and that is why we asked. The call was open for young people from all over the world to submit their solutions or the actions that they would like to be seen. Because the campaign is not for the young leaders. It is for all young people in the world.
Absolutely. Yes. I can hear you. You cut out a little bit there at the end, but I think we're okay. I mean, Maureen, again, this process is so inclusive. It's so diverse. It acknowledges both the problems that are going on and what change needs to happen. And it's youth coming up with such interesting solutions. And I'm wondering, with the work that you do in Kenya, what you've learned from other members of the Act for Food, Act for Change campaign. What have you learned from engaging with these young people, not just from, the global South, but also the global North? Have you learned some things you'd like to share?
Yes, Danny, most definitely. The one thing I would say I have learned, or one of the things I would say I have learned, is we have amazing young people from all over the world. Like I usually look forward to, because we usually have weekly meetings on Thursday, and I look forward to these meetings because, one, I get to listen to the different young leaders and the work that they are doing, or the ideas that they have. I think diversity comes with richness, because we all see the world from like a different lens based on our environment. So one thing I have learned is, one, there is nothing like impossible. There is a solution to everything. And I have also learned teamwork in the sense of I am not sure we could be able to do this if it was a one-man show. So the art of bringing people together, ensuring that you all understand that this is a problem that we are trying to solve, and also having like roles and responsibilities in terms of you do this, someone else does this, also to give everyone a chance, because even as we come from different environments, we all have our strengths and weaknesses, and also the art of accommodating and listening to everyone's ideas, because we are trying to. I believe everyone always has something to say, and that something to say is what has gotten us to where we are right now. I'm actually looking at our website and I see we have 7,062 pledges. So this is definitely a culmination of teamwork and also believing in each other, because we don't stay in one area, but in one region, or like in one house where we can keep following each other, or so it's teamwork makes the dream work. Actually, yes, that is what I would say. This campaign has taught me teamwork makes the dream work, and there's nothing impossible.
I love that. Nothing is impossible. There's a solution to everything. And I think, those 7,000 plus pledges that you already have really demonstrates that. I'm wondering if you can share with people who are listening, young people who are listening, where they can find more information, where they can look at the pledge and learn more about it and hopefully sign it. Where can they go, Maureen?
Yes. So we have our website. It's called Act for Food, Act for Change. So if you would just Google actionsforchange.org. No, but that's just a minute, Danny.
That's okay. We can include it in the social media. And I think your website is actionsforfood.org. Is that right?
Yes, actionsforfood.org. So you can get more information at actionsforfood.com for the number 4.
Wonderful. So actions for the number 4 food.org. Thank you, Maureen. And again, people, young folks can go to that website, get more information, learn what's happening in food systems around the world, understand what's happening with the UN Food Systems Summit, and hopefully sign that pledge so that you can galvanize more young people. Maureen, as our final question, you've done such extraordinary work in Kenya with your organization. You've been organizing with these young people. You've been part of the action track, one of the action tracks for the UN Food Systems Summit. What do you hope comes out of the summit this September when leaders meet and make decisions on the future of our food systems?
Wow.
Big question.
Such a heavy question. What do I hope for? I hope for what really excites me about the summit is, one, we acknowledge that there is a problem that needs to be fixed. So there's already urgency. We already acknowledge that there is urgency. And what I really hope for is that there'll be actions on whatever that will be discussed in the summit. Oftentimes we find, I hope for actions to be now we move to actioning whatever discussions will be in place. The other thing that I hope for is that conversations around building back a stronger food systems will not end in September, immediately after the summit, but this is something that will keep going on. This is something that the relevant stakeholders will keep engaging, because I don't think it's a process. We have only begun the process of building back. So let the momentum I really hope that the momentum will not go down. And I also hope that this is the beginning of young people and being engaged. And yeah, so I hope for continuity of young people being engaged. We appreciate the engagement that we are continuing to see, but we would like more engagement. There's always room for improvement. And the other thing that I hope for is that the 108 million people that go to bed hungry, I hope that we will be able to bridge this gap. 118 people, these are mothers, these are fathers, these are children, these are aunties, these are uncles. These are human beings. And the other day I was listening to a summit, and one speaker mentioned that the most dehumanizing thing is someone being hungry. And hunger, food is a basic human right. It is not the pre-summit that has just concluded. We will be able to change this narrative. We will be able to, everybody will be able to have access to safe and nutritious foods at all times to enable us live a productive life, to enable us live a good life, and yes, to enable our children study in school well, grow up to be successful people in their own right. And yes, that is what I hope. The other thing that excites me about the summit is that it's a people summit. It is not the usual it is an inclusive summit. We have Indigenous people being represented. We even have a whole gender level that is ensuring that women are at the center of this. So it is participate. Everyone is welcome to share their ideas. And yeah, so as I said, I think listening to everyone, I feel like this is a puzzle and everyone has a piece or a role to play. And the fact that now different people are being involved is one way of it's a way of showing that we are slowly getting there. We are in the right direction.
That is wonderful, Maureen. And I think you're right that solving hunger is a puzzle. Everyone has a piece of that puzzle to work on. And, ending hunger is not going to stop with the UN Food Systems Summit in September. This is a long effort. And your point about hunger being one of the most dehumanizing things that can happen to humankind is on target. We have to end hunger now. We don't have a choice. Maureen, I want to give out the website again. It's actionsforfood.org. And people can find out more about the Act for Food, Act for Change campaign there. Maureen, it's always inspiring to talk to you. I hope to see you in September at the UN Food Systems Summit. But thank you for all of the work that you do on behalf of so many people in Kenya and around the world.
Thank you, Danny. Maybe I should also mention that even as young people go to commit their pledges, to sign up for their pledges, I would also like to encourage them to share, the power of sharing. Let's sign the pledge, let's vote for actions for change, but also share. It is through sharing that we will be able to reach to as many young people as possible. And young does not mean below 30 years of age. You could be young at heart. So it's an inclusive. We are inclusive. We're not locking anyone out. Yeah.
I'm definitely young at heart then, Maureen, but thank you. I think your point about making sure that this is shared widely, Food Tank can certainly be part of that effort to share this as widely as possible. And again, thank you for this work. I'm so excited about Act for Food, Act for Change, and all the great work that you're doing.
Thank you, Danny, for having me and for giving Act for Food, Act for Change a platform. And good job with the work that you're doing at Food Tank.
Thank you, Maureen. We so appreciate you. Be safe.
Thank you.
If you aren't already a Food Tank member, you can be part of making conversations like today's possible and attend the incredible amount of post-pandemic events Food Tank is planning absolutely free. Learn more about membership at foodtank.com/join.